What's up guys, Larry Chen here. Welcome to Autofocus. We're back at Pikes Peak and we're featuring a build from Evasive Motorsports. And this time, it's not internal combustion, it's electric. And this is a Tesla Model 3. We got Mike from Evasive, who is the brainchild of this project. What brings you back to Pikes Peak?
Man, it's addicting here. Yeah, we just every year. Last year we did pretty good with Dye in the 86, and we want to come back with something different to challenge ourselves.
And the reason why you came back last year is because you had quote unquote unfinished business, right?
Yeah. So the previous year we didn't finish because the car broke, and then we didn't want to go out that way, so we brought the car back last year.
Yeah. And then you guys won Unlimited class, even though Dye had a little racing incident.
He spun and we still won. And it would have been good for under 10-minute run if it didn't spin, but yeah.
No worries. But what made you decide to essentially retire the FRS and then go with the Tesla Model 3?
I think as a company, we always had an interest in electric cars. Just the amount of customers that come through with Teslas, I feel like it's time for us to really dig deep and build something that's what we do with almost every other platform, but now it's just on an electric car. So we want to just prove to ourselves that we can tackle this and hopefully accomplish what we're set out to do.
So for those of you guys who don't know, Evasive Motorsports, they're in Southern California, and they work on JDM, they work on Euro, they work on pretty much, I guess, anything tuning, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So they actually recently fixed my R32 GTR. That thing, for being a 30-year-old 90s Japanese car, it leaks everywhere, and so they helped me fix that, and also on top of that they installed my KW suspension, which I'm really excited about because it just essentially transformed the car and really modernized it. But like you said, or like we were saying, you work on pretty much everything, and now you want to be able to work on electric cars, which is honestly the future.
I think so too. Yeah, they're here to stay, and every day there's just more and more on the road, so it only makes sense.
Yeah. And because your customers, they like to make it their own, right? They don't want to leave the vehicle stock.
Yeah.
You guys work on like Concours level, Skylines, R34s, this, that, and the other, and also you work on full-on race cars and race prep. So this kind of like ties in this vehicle.
Yeah. So I think for us, we always put our own style onto the cars, and then a lot of our customers kind of feed off that style and then trying to replicate it. So we want to show what's possible with an electric car. So everything from the body kit, from the styling, the wheels, tires, something that just people haven't seen before.
This is without a doubt the most extensively modified Model 3 that I've ever seen, and B, honestly, the best looking Model 3. So let's go over the outside here.
Okay.
Let's start with the flares. Tell me about these.
So these are made by Artisan Spirits Japan. We partner up with them a lot on a lot of projects. So these are 35 mil wider in the front with the louvers built in, and then the rear is 45 millimeter wider. So we're able to fit these massive wheels and tires.
Mm-hmm. And then, so then what kind of wheels and tires are
These
you
are
running?
Titan 7 TP5. They're new racing forged wheels. These are 18 by 11, 15 offset. So really aggressive for a Tesla.
But 18 by 11 all the way around?
All the way around.
Wow.
All the way around, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so square setup.
Yeah. And then, so tell me, the rears look interesting. There's kind of like an aero disc thing going on here.
Yeah, so
what's
like,
going on with this?
Yeah, so we were inspired by Mentai Racing. So you obviously heard of them. They're a 911 tuning powerhouse. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're literally across the street from the Nürburgring.
Yes. Yeah. So the idea with this is, number one, it looks really cool. Number two is it's supposed to clean up the airflow coming off the wheel, so the wing will essentially work better. There's really no way for us to test it, but we just think it's a cool thing to make, and
Yeah, it looks really cool. It kind of looks like a turbofan inspired thing, but it's in the rear instead of the front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then even the center nut, everything It was made in-house with our CNC machine.
So then you got that. You got what else in terms of exterior? Like, are all of these carbon?
Yeah. So doors are all carbon. Roof, all the glass. The stock car had an all glass roof, rear windshield. All that's been replaced with carbon. So if you look at the door, Lexan for all the windows, the inner guts are all carbon.
So and then you were able to lose a lot of weight with this.
I think about 45 pounds a door. Yeah, and then times 4. And the rear just basically skins. They don't even have a skeleton inside.
So, okay. Yeah. So you can't actually open them?
No, they're bolted in. So the whole door comes off. You just have to unbolt it and it comes off. Yeah.
Got it. Because there's no reason for you to access the rear.
No, not really. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. And then what about the front here? How much have you modified on the front end?
So you can see it's an artisan spare front lip. The splitter is custom made for us. It's dry carbon with a really solid core inside. And then chassis mounted. And then we have a lot of vents and cooling that guides the air through all the radiator and coolers that we have in the front. And then it comes out these vents.
Yeah, because this is one of the big issues with electric vehicles. They actually may not have any parasitic loss or have any loss due to altitude, but they actually have loss due to heat, right?
Right. And I think that's one of the most important aspects about building a Tesla is to keep the battery cool, because without the battery running cool, the car will lose so much power, then it's not even worth racing or doing anything with it. So you see this is the radiator we have. There's a cooler underneath.
What is this radiator cooling actually?
The battery pack.
Okay, and is it running water or was it running coolant?
Yeah, it's kind of like a coolant. Yeah. So there's you can see right here, we made these custom fittings. The coolant just basically cycles through it. And
so this is stock?
This is stock, yeah, but not all these fittings it's all made in-house.
And then so normally this goes to a smaller heat exchanger?
Yeah, it's maybe a quarter the size of this. So now we have 2 of these guys, one in the front and one in the back.
Oh, because this is for the front batteries, front area, and then the rear is for the rear area?
Yeah, and it basically just all loops. Yeah. So
got it.
Exactly,
It's in one. It's one system then.
One system, exactly.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because and this is interesting to extract the air out of here, because normally we were talking earlier, and you're saying there's no reason for there to be a vented hood.
Yeah.
Because this is the frunk area. Yeah. It's actually storage.
So most people get confused. They're like, why do you put a vent on the front hood? But this is the reason why. And then without proper, like all this stuff right here, if you don't properly channel the air, it's really not efficient to put a big radiator there. So we make sure that the air has somewhere to go. So.
And then the wing is mounted to here, and then you have some bracing here too?
Yeah, it's for the support. And we're actually using the factory trunk hinge to mount the wing. It actually works really well. We put a little bracket.
You have air jacks on this?
Yeah.
Wow.
It just
real race car stuff.
Yeah, it just makes life a lot easier for Pikes Peak, because we're always constantly putting blankets on the tires. And
So in terms of weight, how much do you think you lost and how much do you think you gained because of safety and cooling and everything?
I actually just found out the weight today from the scales. The car weighs about 3,800 pounds. So it's still really, really heavy, even considering the fact that we removed the doors and everything. So I think most of the weight is the battery pack, and you really can't do anything about that.
Okay. So essentially you kind of offset the weight by adding safety, adding cooling, adding aero bits, and then you took away a lot of unnecessary things like the interior.
Yeah, so a stock Model 3 is 2 tons. It's over 4,000 pounds. So I think we're still under, so we're good.
Whoa, so, okay, so this is the normal door handle.
Yeah, so put your finger through that hole and just, there you
go. That is cool. It's kind of interesting that you modeled the old door handle in still.
Yeah, we took this from the 86 actually.
It's turned into a parts car for 86.
Yeah. So they require the door to be a mechanical, manual, not electric. So that's why we did that. But
all right, so I'm looking at the back here. The cage work is absolutely insane, and I see that it is just the skin for a lot of this, huh?
Yeah.
Huh, okay. And then the door also. So Dai, when he actually goes, for his run, it's just going to be a lot of rushing air, and then you also have to have an alarm system.
Yeah.
That way it lets people know when you're coming around the corner.
Yeah.
They can actually hear this vehicle because it's very quiet.
Yeah. All electric cars have sirens. So.
One thing that is interesting about these vehicles is the flat floor. It's so weird that there's no tunnel or anything.
No, yeah.
Essentially, the drive system is just connected with a bunch of tubes and a bunch of wires, right?
Exactly. Everything's drive-by-wire. Yeah, there's really nothing on the floor. It's just wide open. So.
This is Dai's luggage, and it's not going to stay here during the actual runs, but his helmet and race suit are here. They actually have to weigh it with that and with him. So tell me about this. Is this to cool the system down too?
Yeah, so that's basically CO2, and it's a sprayer for the rear radiator just in case we need additional cooling. And it's turned on automatically by the Motec. Once it reaches a certain temperature, it will start spraying. So Dai doesn't have to worry about it. You just keep going.
Okay, so when you say Motec, you're not using a Motec ECU or anything because obviously it's all Tesla stuff, but Motec still makes something that...
Yeah, so we're using the Motec as a logger. Yeah, and then even the dash itself is super powerful and useful. So we're able to log a lot of the parameters on the car, temperature, how the battery's doing, how the drive units are doing.
Wait a minute, so they actually programmed this in? Like, they actually made programming for electric car?
Yeah. So Mountain Pass Performance is the one that figured it all out, and then it's able to just kind of tap into the factory CAN system and record all the data. Yeah.
So what about this? Does most of this stuff still work, or is this just yelling at you all the time?
Yeah. If you look at here, this is all the list of things that are wrong with the car.
But so like it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically every error code you can have, but the car still drives fine. Yeah. And the camera still works.
Huh. Like all the side cameras, everything
right
still
there.
works?
Yeah, so the side cameras.
Interesting. And you also replaced the dash then?
Yeah. This is all carbon dash.
Just to lose a little more weight?
As much weight as we can take out.
One thing I noticed that was interesting is the weight sensor. You still have to leave there.
Yeah.
So it only works, you can't actually make it like a closed loop or anything. It actually has to sense Dai's weight. Yeah.
So there has to be weight on it for the car to actually drive. Sometimes somebody's like too wide for the seat and their butt doesn't touch the bottom, the car will shut off. So
no way.
It's a really sensitive system. Yeah. So with Dai driving is fine. We haven't had issues. We have to strap it in real tight. So
he has a skinny butt.
Yeah.
But like the fact that you have to do all this stuff to make it work still, like you have to zip tie. What is that?
So this is the factory knob that control all the factory system. Like you can't really unplug this. This used to be on the steering wheel. So now since we have an aftermarket steering wheel, we had to 3D print this little template for these buttons to mount on. So it has to retain it for now. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so most of the factory system cannot be messed with, at least for now.
Because the thing is, you can't really add any more horsepower, right? It's just the horsepower that it has from the factory is what it has. The thing that you can do is reduce the weight.
Yeah, and I think you probably could run the motors, let's say with the AEM or Motec ECU, but you will lose supercharging, which is super important for this car. All the factory stuff that, without the factory brain, it cannot charge at a certain rate. So without that, this car is useless, I think.
Okay, so tell me about that. How are you actually going to charge this for your run up the hill every single day?
So there is a supercharger in downtown Colorado. So after practice each day, we're gonna go there and just drive this car to the supercharger and charge it.
You're gonna drive it on the street?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah. We're gonna trailer it, unload it, and drive it into the parking lot. Yeah.
And you're essentially gonna charge this next to some random
soccer mom,
Model X,
Model
S.
We get looks when we go to a supercharger, but that's the only way for now.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you plug it into a regular
takes too long.
120 or 240, it just takes way too long.
Way too long, yeah.
So then, okay, you charge it. What is the process? You plug it into the supercharger. then you take it back to the house or the shop, and then
Yeah, so I think we'll charge it up to maybe 90%, and then the rest 10% we could use a wall plug at the house. It'll slowly overnight kind of trickle charge the battery pack to full 100%. So.
And then once you get to the mountain, essentially your first run is your fastest run because you have the most power.
Yeah, first run is always the fastest, and it just starts falling from there. Yeah.
And then what's your estimate based on what you've tested before? How much power do you think you'll have left after you get to the summit?
I think, to be realistic, we're probably going to be about 60% power towards the top. So yeah, it's going to be a lot slower.
So that's one thing that I never really understood. I've been doing these videos for so long, and I've, done a bunch of videos on Teslas and electric vehicles. It's not the altitude that affects you guys, it's the actual usage of the battery.
The battery is the limiting factor for sure. Yeah. And I think, with the technology advancing with battery packs, that might just go away one day, where it could probably run at 100% all the way up the hill. But for now, even if you keep the battery pack cool, just because it's dropping, it will start to pull power.
So right now, the way it is, it's all-wheel drive, right? And then when you hit the gas, when you hit the throttle,
yeah,
it essentially sends all power down at all times. Right. So, and it's up to Dai to use his foot to regulate power. Right. Because there's no traction control.
No traction control, but the majority of the power is actually still goes to the rear wheels. So he can really rotate the car with his input, kind of pitch it.
Why is it that the front wheels don't do much?
It's just the way we have it set up to kind of match his driving style. We could put more power towards the front, but then we'll start to understeer. It will feel a certain way that he probably doesn't prefer.
So you have the rear trunk off, which probably doesn't weigh that much, right?
No, it's just the skin. Yeah.
But so then this is part of the cooling system. How does this get air? Oh, it's through here.
Yeah. So this is actually 3D printed. We have ducts that feed air right through this side into the trunk, and you see this is all channel right here. So we made all these ducting for the radiator, and there's an oil cooler underneath, and it actually directs the air to flow right out of on top of the diffuser. So it comes out this way, and we have fans and sprayers inside too to get extra air and just cooling.
You said there's an oil cooler in there?
Underneath, yeah.
What is the oil for?
Drive unit. So the drive unit is, it does have differentials inside. Actually, it uses gear oil, so we have to make sure the front and back drive unit stays cool. Yeah.
Okay. And it's interesting, you've left all of these cameras and stuff. Is there a reason why you've left all this stuff?
Well, the rear ones, because we took away the mirrors, and obviously there's no more window in the back, so he has to be able to see when he backs up. And another thing is that these cars, electronics are so integrated with each other. When you remove cameras, sometimes the car does wig out.
Right.
So we want to make sure that whatever camera system is on the car still stays in place.
There's certain things I noticed on the car where you really have to work around that, right? This was never intended on being stripped and gutted and raced.
No way.
This was intended to be a street car.
Exactly.
And you're really pushing the limit of these, right?
Yeah. So we're learning a lot about the car by taking it to this state right now.